Hey everybody, thank you so much for checking out the video today. We're so pumped to talk to you about spiritual formation, discipleship, groups, reaching people through Bible studies and other things like that. Gina, it's going to be awesome today.
So exciting.
Yes, we've spent
Good
so
stuff.
many years of our ministry building and reaching people through these different ministries. We want to give you a whole list of things that we've done. Most of them we've done. Some of them we're thinking about doing. But before we get to all that, hey, click the subscribe button. If you're watching on the Ryan Heller blog, subscribe so you can stay updated on everything that's going on. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel so that you can always know what we're sharing and you can be up with the latest content. Right. Hey, Gina, one of the really things we've enjoyed doing for a long time in our ministry is our Christian basics study. We found that because we reach a lot of people with the gospel in our church context, that it's important to help new Christians kind of grow. And sometimes older Christians need to get a better foundation. So talk a little bit about our Christian basics and what we do briefly at the church.
That's right. This has, although we've done a ton of different methods of spiritual formation, Christian basics has been one that has always remained. It's always been in the DNA of who we are. And we have developed a booklet with curriculum that we have developed over the years that just fits us and works with us. And it's spiritual foundations of what it means to be a Christian, what it means to walk with Jesus daily, prayer life, how to read your Bible. And then it goes also into some church culture things like how to tithe, how to serve, why it's important to do those things. So this is just a good tool that's just a good standard spiritual development tool that we've used in our church all along.
We've seen a lot of fruit from it, and I think we did a whole video just on that.
You can check that out.
That you could check out. But in addition to the Christian basics, we've also done like what we call like a semestral home group that meets in somebody's home for Bible study, prayer, and encouragement. We've done those usually like on a semester basis, like a college class. It starts in like late September, October, and runs through Thanksgiving or somewhere right around there. And it's a great study. People sign up every semester. They're off-campus Bible studies. They don't meet at the church. They meet in people's homes. That can be a great option. Again, there's pluses and minuses about every one of these things. There's things we love about each one of these that we're talking about. There's things that we're like, oh, we wish we could change that. But a lot of churches do that. There's nothing really super special about that necessarily. You could have a Sunday morning Bible study experience. We do that here at Edge Church. We have a Bible study experience, and it's a great thing, and we do that every Sunday, and it's kind of old school, like Sunday school kind of thing, and we got a group of guys that love to come to church before, and they just go to worship afterwards, and it's perfect because a lot of business people, travel during the week, and sometimes Sunday morning is a good time for people. Also, Gina, we've done some master teacher stuff as well.
Yeah, we sure have, where I've taught a class, or it really speaks his language more because he's the preacher, he's the communicator, more so than I am, and he'll lecture on a book of the Bible or some leadership principles, and it can be topical according to maybe what you're trying to accomplish in the moment, according to what your church needs. Yeah. Very effective.
Yeah, I've like taught through the whole New Testament like in 8 weeks, like super fast, and people bring a notebook and it's like a college course and people take notes and ask questions
feel really
at the end.
Smart.
It's kind of, I don't do it all the time. I have done it. It's fun. There's been some positives about that. We've also done our own studies. Somebody handed me this as I was running in here. We did this like 5-6 years ago. It's a study called YOLO, Seizing Life's Opportunities. It's basically a study of the book of Ephesians, and it's an 8-weeker. And we took some of my messages, we turned them into like a summary of each chapter or each section of Scripture from Ephesians. We wrote discussion questions.
We filmed videos.
And so like we tried to make those groups in particular like really easy to lead. So people that maybe didn't have a lot of faith background or maybe hadn't read the Bible a lot, they could play the video for the group, and I could teach, and then they had discussion. And we found that a lot of people signed up to lead a group because they didn't feel the pressure of maybe having to have all the answers and the questions.
They had the resources that we developed and the videos to show, and so it was just plug and play and lead a discussion.
We also did the book of Joshua. I did a series called Powerhouse, and these were tied to the messages on Sunday morning. So it was like you have message on Sunday morning, then you meet with your group during the week and talk about what the pastor talked about. And then if you miss church, here's the 5-minute video that summarizes kind of what the message was about.
Yeah. And we love this method because it just made everything very cohesive in those weeks during that sermon series. And it also kind of boosted our church attendance because people wanted to come and hear the message before they attended their small group, either later in the day or later in the week. Yeah,
another group that something that we haven't done but we're thinking about doing is a development group. Pastor Jeff Little at Milestone Church has just come out with this book. He's really done a fantastic job at Milestone reaching men, and they take guys through a small group discipleship experience for like 9-10 months, and they help guys like win at home, win at work, win at church, build some solid foundations, and they're seeing some amazing fruit in leadership. And this particular thing's really centered around men. And so that's something we're thinking about. Churches are using the Alpha course as well. That's another thing that's been really great. We've never done that before, but I love it because I know there's an emphasis on evangelism with that too. Gina, we've had men's and women's groups in the church down through the years that we've done 100 zillion different ways. Yeah. I know you've been super involved with the women's groups.
Well, and typically those are based on Bible study curriculum that you can purchase online or use something that you've used before.
So let me ask this. When you're thinking about showing a video or doing a curriculum, how do you choose which study you want to do? Like what's your filter?
Yeah. Well, I think of several things. I think of I look at how, just something as simple as how long are the teaching videos. If someone else is doing teaching via video, is this an hour message? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? Typically for my women, I know that they can handle, like 15 minutes up to about 30 or 40 minutes. So I'll look at the length of the videos. I also look at something that's even more critical, more important, is how does it tie into the culture of our church, and also the vision of our church. In other words, can I baptize it in our culture, or does it have enough of our culture already in it? And sometimes it's just the personality and the giftedness of the type of the leader who's put out this study, the author of the study.
Yeah.
Or so does it accomplish the vision of our church?
So Gina, what you're saying is that there are certain Bible teachers and certain studies that we would never use.
Right.
It's
for us personally.
Yeah, because it's not really our culture. And we want people, when they come to a weekend experience, to have, when they go to a group, to have a similar experience. We don't want people to have this experience at worship and that experience at kids ministry and that experience in group and this experience with student ministry. We want people to feel like when they come to the church, it's all at least in the same stratosphere. So there's certain teachers and preachers that we would love and celebrate. There's others we would say, that's not really us. That's not what we do. Sometimes when down through the years, people have requested to use certain curriculums to teach, and we've said no. We don't want to use that author. We don't want to use that, and sometimes people have been like, well, why not? Because we like that, and because it's not our culture.
Right. Right. We want everything to be defined and filtered by our culture and our vision. Our vision statement is people helping people find and follow Christ. And so that material that I choose for the women's study, or you for the men's study, or the leadership in place for that, is filtered through people helping people find and follow Christ.
One of the new practices that we're working on is we're trying to bring more culture into each of our group experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So we have written a list of like
good.
12 statements or mottos that we use at the church that express one of our values. We have 3 values at the church, but we express those values a lot of different ways. So, but every week at group, those things are being gone over.
Yep.
Not just in the weekend worship experience, but they're being echoed in the group experiences. So it tightens the culture. Yeah. And so we're not just having a Bible study where we just go through the curriculum and we learn about the book of Exodus. It's like, no, we're going to learn about the book of Exodus, but we're also going to talk about why we exist. Why do we have a church? What are we doing here? Why does it matter?
We always infiltrate something of our culture and our vision into every Bible study that we put out, whether it's us personally teaching the study or another leader that we have trained. There's a training process that our leaders go through in order to be able to teach a class, and some of that is going through the 12 statements that you just mentioned. Yeah.
And I just told a leader the other day, I said, finish your list of 12 and then repeat it and do it again, because you got to keep talking about it, man. You don't ever get to the point where everybody just gets it all at one time. Hey, I hope some of this has been helpful for you. Leave us some feedback. Leave us some comments. We'd love to hear about how you're developing leaders and building people in your church. And maybe you've got some ideas that we could learn from as well. We're kind of pilgrims on the journey. We're constantly experimenting with different things. Down through the years, I think as we've served in different churches, different types of spiritual formation worked better, maybe at this church or that church. It's not a one-size-fits-all. I think that all the different things we talked about today can be effective in building people if you run the right system. But I think there's a tendency for us to try to do everything and to not do anything well.
That's really good.
I think it'd be better to pick one or two things you want to be really good at, and then don't worry about everything else. And down through the years, we've also had people that have come to our church and said, "Hey, we want to do a group like this." And it's not that what they wanted to do was wrong. It was just not what we did. It's not our culture. It's not what we do. We want to do 75 weeks in the book of Ezekiel. Well, we don't really do that here.
It's okay to tell someone no politely and why. And, because you've got to filter it through your culture and your vision, and not everything that everyone wants to do fits with that. Yeah,
so Gina, I would just say, don't be afraid to push back a little bit and to maybe not do the kind of group that everybody wants you to do. We want to have a preschool moms group Thursday morning at 7:45 that goes through the book of, I don't know what, Malachi, whatever it is. Well, I don't know. We may do that, we may not do that, but it's okay to say no to all that. But hey, think about those things today. God bless you. We're praying for you to have great fruitfulness in your groups, in your spiritual formation. You guys are doing some amazing ministry, and we're wishing you guys all the best and looking forward to being with you again very soon. Again, click the subscribe button so we can stay connected, okay? God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.